Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability, SVTAGS. Today I'm very honored to have with me two gentlemen who are tech geniuses in themselves. I have Drew Anderson.
Hi.
And I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Anurag Kumar, and CEO and Head of Technology for iTexico. Thank you for joining me, and it's just by luck that you happen to be here today. So before we get started on the company, tell me a little bit about yourselves, and I guess we'll start with you. Tell us about yourself, your background, maybe a little educational information, whatever you'd like to share.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to tell a little bit about some of the options the companies in Silicon Valley have. So my name is Anurag Kumar. I'm from Austin. Happen to be here because my son is going to Stanford next month, so it was kind of
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. So I'm a computer engineer by training, by education. I have a bachelor's and master's in computer science, and I also have an MBA. And I started as a programmer in 1982, a long time ago.
And where did you get your degrees?
I got my undergrad degree from IIT Delhi in India, one of the top schools, and then I got my master's from Wayne State in Detroit and my MBA from Michigan State in Michigan. So I started working as a programmer a long time ago, 1982. Along the way, I worked at IBM, TCS, Dell.
Did you work at any car companies since you were in Michigan? Just off the top of my head.
GM was a client of ours when I was at IBM. So I was actually part of the GM account team in Troy, Michigan.
Nice.
So I kind of know, I've been to a couple of those.
I was saying you're there, so they had to put you in.
They did, and we went to a lot of these plants at Ford and all that. I've seen Mustang getting built. Kind of an interesting experience.
Awesome.
It is, and it was actually a very old plant. So they had an assembly line, not a very flat one, but it actually went 2 levels. It's I can't describe it. Normally you see assembly line as one. Here the assembly line was 1 level and 2 levels. So cars are going up and down, this way and this way.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just interesting. So anyway, so I started my career as a developer, worked for IBM, TCS and all that. And along the way I got this bug of entrepreneurship. So I started my first company when I was 25 in Michigan. Sold that off, did another one, and
you're only like 35 now, so it was just 10 years ago, right?
It is. I had a haircut yesterday. So while I was at IBM, I got transferred to Austin, Texas, 21 years ago, which is where I lived. And then around 99, 2000, the internet craze was happening, and I wanted to do something. I was almost getting to be around 40. So I started a venture funded startup, raised a lot of money, had a really good time, didn't go quite anywhere. I wasn't the only one in 2000, 2001. And September 2001 happened.
Oh yes, I remember the dot-com demise very well, working in San Francisco
I remember
at that time.
I was on the way to San Diego that day. And I was about to drive from my house to the airport, and my business partner called me. He says, Anurag, you're not going anywhere today. I said, what happened? He said, go look at the TV. So yeah, I remember that day I was in my driveway in my car. So anyway, I did another startup after that. So I'm on the 5th one. I sold a couple of them.
So you're a serial entrepreneur.
I call myself a serial developing entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm still learning. One of these days, I'm going to figure it out, and I'll be on the show again. So iTexico is my 5th startup. We started around 5 years ago. And what happened actually was...
Well, and hold on one sec before we go there. I want to hear about Drew's background.
I'm sorry.
Really quick. No apologies. That's why I'm here directing you guys to what to say. I want to hear about your background. And now we've known each other for a long time, but what did you go to school for? And
well, actually, I was an English major. I went to school in Europe. I'm actually a native Bay Arean, though.
I did not know that you went to school in Europe. That's interesting.
Yeah, I spent 10 years there, and then I went to Cal State Northridge in LA and spent pretty much half my career with one leg in Silicon Valley and the other leg in Southern California or Hollywood.
And was it engineering? What did you go to Cal State Northridge?
Actually, no, I'm a self-taught engineer.
Okay.
I was an English major and found out that it was quite difficult to make a living as a writer. And also had the technology kind of streak I was born with. So I too am a serial entrepreneur and started my very first company in college while I was at Cal State. And that was in '79.
I was going to say about 10 years ago again too, right?
Yeah. Since then, I've done quite a few things. But I'm most importantly, I've been married for 32 years to my wonderful wife, Robin. We live here in the Bay Area. I have 4 wonderful children who have all grown up and moved on and are.
And a grandchild.
I am now a very, very happy grandparent with 3 wonderful new grandchildren in my life. And I am also too a developing serial entrepreneur like Anurag. And
well, and it's interesting, you're one of those special breed of people here in Silicon Valley that can talk the talk, but also walk the walk of tech. So you can understand, and it's funny because I've always from a young age been able to program things and figure things out, and I think it's because my dad was, he worked on cars and did construction, but that was his hobby. And so, it's different when you can find someone that can actually think mechanically or think engineer, but then also talk and be one of those marketing people that can talk about things.
I have to bring up my father here because he was one of the original engineers hired by David Packard in 1958. And I grew up in the HP way. My father has a book about it. It's called The Accidental Spy, if you ever want to look it up.
Well, that sounds like another TV show.
And we can talk about that.
I'm going to have them bring up the first slide because now we're going to talk about the iTexico. And here's the first slide. So this is about your company. Tell me about the slide a little bit where we're looking at it. It says the what, how, why. I can't really read that. I need new bifocals.
Okay. No, I can. And we'll talk about the concept behind iTexico, but at iTexico we provide digital and software solutions to companies here in US. So we provide, we help them expand the brand by providing services.
So the slide here, what, how, why.
Yeah, so what is we expand a brand, we help companies expand the brand, take their products to market, take it to broader markets. We help them enter new markets, not just US, but also global markets.
You can just tell. We're going to pull that slide down, so we're just going to talk about it. So, so global markets and
global markets, we help them take the products to market faster at lower cost, and we do that by giving them access to teams in US and we call them nearshore teams in Mexico. So that gives them scale, that gives them cost effectiveness, and that gives them access to talent, bilingual talent, which they may not have here. And then the value prop is, we provide them capacity on demand, we provide them additional capability, we provide them a cost-effective way of taking the solution to the market, all in a way that they can collaborate with the teams as if the teams are local teams.
And okay, so you said you had 5 companies you started. So why did you start this one? What was the spark that got you to start this one?
I was about to describe that. So I was actually, after my 4th company, which I sold, I became CEO of a company in India. It was a services company with teams in India. And I was traveling these far distances to manage it, working odd time zones, 12 hours away, missing deadlines for my customers because these are long days. You're working days and you're working nights because of the time zone. And I started thinking there must be a better way of providing services. I happened to meet my current partner, Guillermo Ortega. He's from Mexico, and he invited me to this city called Guadalajara. I didn't even know how to spell it. I had no idea where it is. But I went down there. And I'm a curious guy. I love travel. So I went down to the place, Guadalajara, Mexico. And suddenly I realized that there is an option which is probably a lot of people don't know about. You can have teams in Mexico, teams in US, work with customers in US in the same time zone, in close proximity, eliminating or reducing a lot of challenges you have when your teams are far away. And having a lot of experience with teams in India, it just made a lot of sense. And we started that company in 2011.
And so that brings to the next question, the difference between offshoring and nearshoring. And I'm going to bring up the next slide too.
Sure.
And I was a little confused about it at first. So here's nearshoring, and it talks about offshore, nearshore plus. Tell us a little bit about it.
I will. So I'll give you the the Wikipedia definition of nearshore, right? So outsourcing, the nearshoring is outsourcing of business processes